Hey guys, what's up? My name's Jen. I'm a former flight attendant turned travel commentator. I am a travel agency owner and I help people travel every single day. First of all, I am sorry for not uploading. I have some client stuff that I'm working on. I had a meeting with my Sandals and Beaches representative, so those definitely take priority. My clients are always going to take priority over a YouTube video, but I'm here today. I will eventually for sure get back on the track of Tuesdays and Thursdays. That is my goal. Always, though, I'm going to try to have 2 videos up for you guys. If for some reason I miss a day, just know that I'm probably working on some client stuff that took a little bit longer than I expected. That's what happens when you have your own business. I have recently got some feedback. They had let me know that they want more of a snarky opinion on some of these girls, and I think that comes from a lot of other reaction channels really going after these ladies for the things that they have done. A lot of them have done actually very terrible things. I think that I come across as a little bit too nice to some of these people. I took a couple things away from that feedback. One being that you guys want more of my opinion on the situation and what these girls are doing and who they are. And I'm more than happy to get a little more open with that. But it is not in my nature to be super snarky and to really go after them for other things. There are definitely plenty other channels for that. I am going to be more focused on just the travel aspect and have travel conversations, and that is what my channel is going to be. So those of you who are here for that, thank you so much. I am starting kind of a new series that we are kicking it off with Glitter and Lasers, talking about influencers and how they're kind of destroying the travel industry actually, and doing kind of a disservice to the public when it comes to travel. So that's going to be a very, very interesting topic to talk about, and I'm excited about that. But I just want to make it clear that I'm just not that type of person that's going to go after them hardcore. I am more than happy to give more of my opinion, and actually I think that's a compliment that you guys want just more than the travel stuff. Thank you for that. Don't forget that I did start another channel that's going to be purely travel focused. It is not going to be any kind of reactions or commentaries, so check that out. I will definitely be linking that down below. We are going to be watching an older Glitter and Lasers video. It is titled My Worst Flying Experience Ever, and then parentheses, plus size travel vlog. Okay, Anna, take it away.
I'm so embarrassed. I just really hate my body right now.
So you can see right away she is garnering the sympathy. You're going to see that Anna is her own worst enemy as this video goes, and there are things that she can be doing to put herself in better situations.
It is 5 p.m. the night before I leave for Finland, and I have packed exactly 0 things. Nothing is packed.
There you go, right there. It's the night before she has to leave, and she has packed nothing. You're already setting yourself up for a long night, and especially going internationally. But this is Anna. This is the chaos of Anna. She typically does not pack until the night before. She has talked about that. This is a trend that kind of goes along with some of the influencers we're going to be taking a look at, where they are doing all-nighters the night before a trip. They are going into this travel experience extremely exhausted. They get sick a lot of the times, and that is a huge factor into that and not getting enough sleep. Now, that being said, I have done stuff like this before. I always try to get a little bit of sleep before my flight the next day. Just know that you're setting yourself up for exhaustion for the next day. And when things happen and don't go your way when you're exhausted, they feel 10 times worse than they actually are. And situations that maybe are not a big deal become a bigger deal to you just because of how tired you are. That just happens for almost everybody.
I'm procrastinating, and I don't know why. I'm watching some like Vanderpump Rules reunion.
She's not even procrastinating for a good reason. That's even more irritating. The fact that she could be packing while she's watching this, like, girl.
Is that a good choice?
No.
You know what it is. I'm living my best life. I just also will live a pretty sleepy life because you know your girl is not sleeping tonight. Yeah.
Exactly.
I never do before a big trip. Does anyone sleep before a big trip? I just don't think they do.
Yes, people do. People who are prepped and packed and ready to go. I mean, there is going to be some anxiety sometimes that allow you not to sleep as well. Some people get nervous. They have an early morning flight. They want to make sure they wake up on time and don't miss their alarm. With those factors going on, the least you can do for yourself is to go to bed at a time where you can try to get as much sleep as possible.
Gotta have a dress for midsummer. I know it's not midsummer, it's called something in Finnish, but it's amid summer feast. So I have to have a dress for that. Your girl has to dress up. I love a good theme. I love a good theme.
Oh my God.
There's just no way it's all gonna fit.
See, this is the state that she's in right before this trip. Her suitcase is completely exploding. This stuff that she's doing now could have been done even like a week or so leading up to her trip, pulling outfits. This is what I do to help myself get like ready. I start pulling outfits that I know I'm going to want to pack and that I know I won't have to wear leading up to my trip, especially within that week. And it is really nice to then go in and all I have to do is really like organize my bag. Just trying to highlight the stress that she's putting herself into leading up before this complete meltdown that we have.
I'm afraid I'm going to pack and then I'm going to get there and I'm not going to have something I need. And as a plus size person, that can be very, very challenging.
I think that's true, probably.
So I'm hoping that I can figure it out. It's going to be some packing Jenga for sure.
I kind of like that reference, that packing Jenga. It's kind of true.
It's middle of the night. I'm still not finished packing. And so I'm just going to go to bed. This is what I call the Anna special, which is where I go to bed. I wake up at like 3 a.m. And then somehow in like 2 hours, I pull everything together.
That is, I mean, why people are procrastinators in general. They know that they can get something done within a 2-hour time span. If she just took 2 hours during her day, she would have been completely done packing. But it's kind of the downside of being a procrastinator is because you know you can get it done in that amount of time. And the Anna special, that means that she's very regularly doing this. And she does come across as a very emotional person online and very defensive sometimes and very negative about travel in certain situations or has really bad dramatic travel experiences. And to know that she's exhausting herself usually before a trip, so much so she does this so often that she has a name for it. It's just showing you that this is something she always does. This is not the first time she's doing this.
But if I keep trying to go at night, it'll take me like the whole night. So I'm just gonna go to bed, figure it out in the morning. And when I mean morning, I mean like really early in the morning. So last night I did not finish packing and I got super stressed out and I moved everything here.
Changing your environment.
It's now in my kitchen. And that's so I could go to bed. That's so I could sleep. And now I gotta sort this out. I have about an hour before I have to go to a doctor's appointment. And then
so not only did she put a doctor's appointment right before her flight, I don't recommend having any sort of appointments the day that you're traveling. It's stressful enough, but she's still not packed. She's just not doing herself any favors at all. I realize that appointments, sometimes it is what it is and you have to take that day, but just knowing that, I'm sure she didn't make the appointment last night. So leading up to this day, she knew she was going to be busy on travel day.
To the airport. So it's get your ish together o'clock. Also, before I start packing, I just want to talk about how the reason I'm not fully packed is because I thought the weather was going to be cold.
She literally just told us it was because she was watching Vanderpump Rules and was procrastinating. Do not give me this crap about the weather. The weather doesn't change within a 5-hour time span that she was last packing to now. There can be changes and that kind of thing, but it's not dramatic. What I like to do, I check the weather for the week and then I check what the average weather is for that time period of that country or that city or wherever I'm going. And usually you can get like a good idea of what it's going to be around. Always anticipate rain, especially if you're in a place that it rains a lot. This is the worst excuse ever. And she's doing this. She's trying to validate why she is not prepared and not ready. You might have forgotten that you told us the real reason that you are not packed right now.
Then the weather changed. It's going to be like 70 to 80 degrees and nothing, absolutely nothing I planned works for that. I did what I like to call pulling an Anna.
She's got a name for everything that she does. Pulling an Anna special. Like, it's not cute and quirky. It's just annoying and irresponsible.
Which is where I just sleep for like a couple hours to just get my head straight. And now I'm back in the game.
All right. See the focus now? Like, she could have been doing this.
I am very tired. I packed in speed rate. And now we're headed to my friend Emily's to drop off data. And then I gotta get to the airport.
See, there's always so many things. So she had an appointment, she had to drop off her dog. There's so many things to do on travel day, and it is not the time to be packing.
So I made it to the airport, and I just need to check in now because it's a international flight, so they need to see passport. And I'm actually impressed with myself because I'm usually like just like flying in right before you can't check a bag, but I'm actually early.
So she's not used to being early to the airport. Usually you can check in on the kiosk for an international flight. You just have to scan your passport. So I'm not sure why she has to be in line. The reason, there must be something going on with her ticket, or she must have some like extra questions, but usually you can do it at the kiosk, scan your passport, get your baggage tag, and then go to the baggage drop. If you don't have bags that you are checking, you can go to the kiosk and go straight to security. Maybe you checked in online or something and your passport has not been scanned at the airport before your international trip. You will be getting called at the gate for the gate agents to see your passport. Your passport in the United States needs to be scanned before you take an international flight at the airport. I understand if you check in online, you can put in your passport information online. At the airport, it needs to get scanned at some point. That could be you do it at the kiosk. That could be whether the agent that's taking your bag just quickly scans it. It could be done at the gate, but you cannot board until they've seen your passport. That's why a lot of the times if you are traveling an international flight and they're calling a ton of people up to the gate, it's not upgrades, it's not stuff like that. They need to see their passports and scan their passports before they get on the flight. So she is right that her passport needs to be seen, but the fact that she needs to talk to someone, I'm not sure if there's something going on, if she has questions about seats, as you'll see.
Who is she? Who is she? So I'm waiting in line and I get a frantic call from Tracy, who helps me out with like operational stuff, and she's like, I think you've been hacked.
That's my opinion, and this is partly from my experiences of traveling and all that, but she looks extremely disheveled. Like her hair, she's not typically like this. She's usually more put together, and I think kind of goes to her state of mind. I really do try to travel and look nice. I don't always put on makeup, but maybe I try to do a little bit of makeup and just have like myself looking a little bit put together, because I know, and I've traveled not looking so well before too, and this is how I know this. And you guys, I've traveled a lot. I travel a lot. You get treated way better when you are dressed and put together, especially at the airport. And that sounds really upfront and harsh, but I guarantee you the amount of respect you get and just the way people are interacting with you. Also, you being kind to them, it's going to be 10 times better. But I always feel that my experience is so much better when I myself look put together and I'm traveling. Maybe it's not right, it's not, a total necessity, but I guarantee you, if you're someone that is very disheveled at the airport and traveling disheveled, try being more put together, more organized, and looking a little bit more put together, and you get treated much differently. And that's just the reality of society and what it is. I just wanted to bring that point up because she does look disheveled. Okay, Anna.
The live post, I'm not sure how I did it, but it definitely wasn't a spammer, because I don't think they would choose to like promote a charity. I mean, if they are, I'm all for that type of spam. Also, I think we're next. I think we're next. They helped me get checked in. Let's go.
That was pretty cute, actually, that they were interested in being in the video. I'm surprised, actually. When I was an airport employee, I try to avoid all videos if at all possible.
Y'all, there is no line. And if you've ever flown out of the Austin airport, this does not happen very often. So the universe is already getting this trip off to an amazing start.
Okay, so she's very positive at the moment. Look at that pause screen.
Okay, we're through security, but it is bad hot in this airport. I had to put my hair up because your girl is nasty right now. And I still have like 17 hours of travel to go.
I'm kind of like that too. I always wear a
flight pit stop. You cannot pay me to use a bathroom in a plane unless it's an international flight.
Honestly, that's probably because she can't really fit in there, and that's the reality of it. A lot of these people that react to that are heavier and bigger, they do not. I know Foodie Beauty, she does not get up and go to the bathroom, but she's talked about that she doesn't really fit in there. So that is a big issue on international flights. There are sometimes labs that are a little bit bigger. I know a lot of people are like that. They don't like to go to the bathroom on an aircraft, but I have no issue with it. It's probably because I've worked on the airplanes too. So it's just kind of like whatever to me, but I'm just not the type to hold my pee for hours and hours. Like there's a lab, I'm gonna go.
That's a no. Okay, so I just got a gate change. We're no longer at 23, we're now at 30. So I'm hustling to the other side of the airport. It's around 2:12, and it looks like our flight is going to be a little bit delayed, but not too bad. And it's totally okay because I have like a 3-hour layover, so I'm not gonna miss my flight to Finland. I shouldn't jinx myself, should I? No, I should not.
Thick and checkered.
It's time to fly. I need everyone to pray
There's like nobody on that
I
flight.
sleep on this flight. Because I am tired. It's 8 o'clock and I just landed in New York, and now I'm headed all the way, like all the way, to the other side of the airport to get my flight to Finland. Of course, I'm at gate 35 and it's at gate 5, so the furthest passable away gate. Yeah, luckily I got 3 hours to get there.
Okay, working on her laptop. Cute.
So this is my travel nightmare, guys. I did not book an extra seat for the flight to Finland like I always do, because I thought there was open seats, but there actually wasn't. It was like a mirage. So I'm here. The flight is completely full.
First of all, you will never be able to fully see if a flight is fully booked or not. Airlines are allowed by law to oversell flights. Usually it's not oversold by more than 5, and that's just based on like the stats of people showing up for the flight. And most of the time, enough people don't show up that it's completely fine. But you'll hear certain situations, if you're someone that flies more frequently, that they're trying to buy people off the flight. This flight is oversold. We need someone to volunteer for the next flight, or this and that. And that is why that happens. There could be weather issues that happen, and for some reason people miss the flight the day before and have to all pile onto this flight, or people are trying to leave earlier because of weather that's going on. There are so many situations where a flight can go from empty to completely full, and even within an hour. It is insane. I've seen it happen multiple times. So the fact that you're banking on a flight to be empty, very irresponsible. And especially if you're someone who is going to have a meltdown about not having extra space or an extra seat. She's tired, she's exhausted. If she knew that this was going to be an issue if the flight was full, she needed to be prepared for that. You can never count on a flight being empty or you having an empty seat next to you, which blows my mind why Foodie Booty travels the way she does. And she keeps getting lucky. If you are in the United States going somewhere, flights are going to be full.
And I'm really anxious about it, but sometimes the universe helps you get through things by putting a puppy in your path. So I met a beautiful dog named Inga. And Inga and I are
She's cute.
making sure I'm less stressful. I don't know if I'm actually going to get to Finland.
Oh my god, is she gonna cry?
And it's going to be super embarrassing if I don't. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed and disappointed, and it just...
So she can feel this way in the moment, but she really just did this to herself. We're kind of seeing that exhaustion, emotional breakdown now. And it kind of, if you even go back to her being in New York with a bagel, I think she was so tired from that day too. She gets emotional and she was crying over the bagel and that whole bagel gate thing. But we're seeing a very similar, like, exhausted Anna. She's not prepared. She was not necessarily getting her way, and she's getting emotional anxiety and the tears are starting. I just want to articulate how much of this could have been prevented if she were to properly prep for the travel. And just winging it is a very, very stressful thing to do.
I really hate my body right now. And I never hate my body, but I really hate it right now. I live every day trying to be as accommodating and apologetic for my body, and
no one's upset about your body though.
even when I try my best, I still screw up. And with
this is,
I don't know. This isn't helpful to anyone. It's not helpful to anyone.
It's not.
I had to put my glasses in because I started having an allergy attack from the dog. But
an allergy attack from the dog. She knows she's allergic to dogs. So at the airport where she's already feeling emotional, I get that it was a stress reliever, but she was rubbing her face, rubbing her eyes. The fact that she knew she had been petting a dog, rubbing her face, and she's about to get on a flight. I think, what is it, like 6-7 hour flight after interacting with something she's allergic to. It doesn't make sense to me. It's the same thing, I think, when she was out in Spain or something. She was petting a horse and loving up on a horse, and she's allergic to horses. Like, duh, you're gonna have a reaction. She's doing this to herself. It really is just like a domino effect of her making poor choices and it just affecting her her in a really, really negative way. If you're going to pet the dog, go wash your hands before you're rubbing your eyes and your face and everything. And she's embarrassed about her body, and that it's the reality that she's living in. And she needs to know that accommodating for herself, and she's preached this so many times in other videos, that you need to call ahead to restaurants, you need to do your research, and it's just that much better experience when you know that you can be accommodated in a place for your size. And yet she does not do that in her real life and her everyday life. She's not doing that. How many times has she been upset about a place that she goes into and they don't have the right seating or whatever, or she's upset for the situation that she's in, when she knows that she does have power to make sure that she is okay in those experiences, in those situations. And that is what probably frustrates me the most about her, is that she's her own worst enemy. This whole sympathy thing about hating her body and being embarrassed and being tired is probably an onset of her being exhausted. And the fact that they're telling her that she's not going to have an extra seat, that just is what makes watching Anna and her Glitter and Lasers videos when she's traveling and complaining about travel, that's just what makes it so frustrating for me.
I'm just waiting to see if I can get on the flight, and I don't think I've ever felt more anxious than I do right now. After a whole lot of flight drama, I did not make it to Finland tonight. So I am on the flight tomorrow, and hopefully I get there.
Hopefully you get there.
Literally, I am just proud of myself that I didn't have a full-on mentee bee in the middle of the JFK airport.
It kind of seemed like you were having a mentee bee. Hate that phrasing for a mental breakdown. So now she has to pay for a taxi ride in New York, which is probably expensive. She has to pay for a hotel room, and she's gone through all this stress. There's probably going to be stress with, like, she probably doesn't have her bag that she checked. It's just, there is so many issues. If she would have just bought an extra seat from the beginning, I'm sure the extra seat would still be a little bit more pricey than what she has to put out for this, but the stress is probably not worth it, even alone. Just know that if you are trying to save money and you're trying to cut corners on things and wing it, and I see this a lot, usually it ends up being just as expensive or more expensive if things start to go a little wonky and travel plans aren't working out perfectly. I am a big preacher of be the least amount of stress possible.
It's about to be
No,
my
she
first
did not.
night's sleep with a CPAP. I also have a chin strap just to make sure my mouth stays closed. I feel like a monster, but I haven't slept well since I was a child, and I'm curious to see if this opens a whole new world of energy for me. I don't think people know how tired I feel on a day-to-day basis and how hard I have to push myself to do all that I do.
I think that's probably true. She is probably really tired, and I know people with sleep apnea and all of that, it really affects the quality of sleep they're having. But of course she's going to be exhausted because she didn't sleep the night before, and she's running on nothing, and she's had a very stressful day. Yeah, you're going to be exhausted, and you need to make sure that you're getting a good night's rest with your CPAP the day before travel too. Hopefully now that she's at her hotel, she can get some rest for the next day. But that hotel actually kind of looks nice. Putting herself on camera like this, it's a choice. It's a choice. Having sleep apnea and not getting good sleep and being exhausted, but you also don't do anything for yourself to make sure that you're getting the adequate amount of rest that you need.
And it would be nice to wake up and feel rested. I technically sleep, but I don't sleep well. It's not.
But you didn't
sleep
sleep the night before.
Sleep. And right now I'm going on about 2 to 3 nights of
no
not
sleep.
Good sleep. And usually.
But that's not because of your sleep apnea. That was because you were watching Vanderpump Rules and then you weren't packing. She always has to blame her body. Like, the reason you didn't get on the flight wasn't because you're big and your size and your body. It was because you didn't adequately plan for an extra seat or a business class seat that you could comfortably fit in. She always wants to blame something, her size or something like that. And it's not. It's you, Anna. It's your prep and execution of things in your life that are giving the consequences that you are living out. Those are not the things to blame, Anna. You can be doing a lot more for yourself.
That will continue for several days, and then eventually I'll have to take an entire day, sometimes 2, where I just lay down because my body just is giving up. And since I don't sleep deeply, it
really
can't recover.
concerning.
So I'm interested to see if tomorrow I wake up feeling like a new person, because right now.
Did she say this was her first time using this CPAP? I wonder if it is. Maybe that's why she had her doctor's appointment. That's also wild, to use this for the first time on a trip. I mean, if you have it, use it, I guess. But she's just putting a lot on herself right now.
Honestly, I feel very broken and very exhausted, and it could be honestly life-changing.
Probably will be, for sure.
Okay, let's try this again. It is 3.
Look at the difference between her at the airport yesterday and her heading to the airport today. She looks so much more put together, and you can tell that she's had sleep. You can see the difference in her, and I just want to highlight that because that goes along with exactly what I was saying before, and that's why it's so important to set yourself up with rest the day before travel.
30-ish, and we are headed to JFK to hopefully get on my flight to Finland. Not like yesterday where I ended up in New York on a surprise stopover. But you know what? I had a great bagel for breakfast, so I'm not going to be mad about it. Only in New York can you get some good bagels. We got a bit of a line, but I'm just happy to be here. I feel like that's the official Glitter and Lasers team motto. I'm just happy to be here. I made a DJ Khaled joke at the airport, and the guy let me skip ahead in the check-in line. So pays to be funny, I guess.
I'm sure everyone around her was really happy and excited about that.
I'm literally the only person at my gate.
Okay.
This is called being so early that nobody is here except that person. I had to go through security again because last night they were like, extra business class seat. We're going to hold it for you at like a reduced rate, and you just need to pick it up at 5 p.m.
This is where I start to have issues, because why is she getting a reduced rate business class seat? And this is where, using my knowledge of when situations like this happen at the airport, I have been a gate agent, I have been in ticketing before, I've been a flight attendant, so I know the processes that are done when this type of things happen. Exactly, if someone's too large to fit in a seat, I know the exact processes. I'm wondering if she somehow was able to get the blame onto the airline, or was able to somehow, I guess, blame the airline. The average person, I'm telling you, does not get offered a reduced rate business class seat. So she could be lying about that and that she just has to buy a business class seat. Why didn't you buy it in the first place? And I honestly don't think it's fair when there's probably someone that is extremely tall and going to be extremely uncomfortable in the flight that would pay for business class seat. I just think that definitely the airline is somehow feeling bad that she was not able to travel the day before, and definitely pulling some strings for her, because this is not something that happens. I actually have never seen someone given a reduced rate business class seat ever. If there are open seats, prices will drop because they're trying to sell those seats. So maybe they told her it was being it's reduced, but it really is just the price of a last minute ticket in business class to Finland if the seat hasn't sold or anything like that, or the upgrade or whatever. I have a real issue with this because people are going to think that this is typical. She's not necessarily saying that people can do this and this is a hack or anything like this. She's not, but just her doing this and having the platform that she does, it's going to get to a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to see this, especially people who are plus size travelers that look up to her. I'm not sure where the disconnect is, or if it really is a last minute business class upgrade because it's available. Do not count on an airline to give you a business class seat for a reduced rate if you are too large and can't fit into one seat. That is not going to happen for you, and that's a reality of it.
So I thought they meant 5 p.m. at the same check-in counter I was at yesterday, but no, they meant the outside check-in counter. So I went all the way through security, and I sat down at that gate at 4:30, and I papa squawked for 2.5 hours before someone showed up, and they're like, no, they mean the outside gate. So then I went outside and met them, and they had the seat. So now I am flying business class, and it was considerably cheaper than a normal business class ticket is.
See, and why should you get that ticket? Why? That's where I get very upset that this happens. She essentially was being rewarded for not being prepared, and that's not what's going to happen for you when you're traveling. Airlines are ruthless. I'm in shock that she was given this opportunity, and I don't know what happened. I really am curious how this happened, and I don't think it's great that she's talking about it. I think that the airline is doing her a disservice because it's pretty much rewarding her for not being prepared and not prepping herself and not purchasing the correct tickets in the first place. I just think it's irresponsible. It sends so many bad messages to people that are actually traveling. This is not going to happen for you. I'm sorry. And for her to be showing off this to her audience, that she gets a business, I mean, of course, be hyped that you're going to be in business class now. Who would not love this opportunity? I just worry that people think that because of the result of her not being prepared, that this is how an airline rectifies the situation. And that is not the truth. That will happen. And this is extremely rare. It's so rare that I have a hard time believing fully how this whole situation went down.
It's pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of excited about how this all ended up being. I'm now just chilling at the first class lounge until the flight.
See, she gets a first class lounge and like it's so much more of an upgrade. But think about how different her experience is being prepped for this flight now. And she showed up early, she was ready to go, and now having a seat that she knows is going to be completely fine for her. She gets to be in the lounge now and have a lot less stressful experience at the JFK airport. It's just, this whole thing could have been avoided. She would have maybe just had 2 seats in economy and not been in this. Like, this is just a blessing for her to have this opportunity. But I have no problem with her being excited about this, because if you get the chance to fly business class seat, oh my God, it's so much fun. 100% be excited about it. Use all of the benefits and amenities that you get with it. It's really cool. And the fact that she gets to experience that is awesome. Just know that the way she got to this, what I'm not agreeing with, and I don't want you to think that this is your opportunity to also get into business class, is the same way.
This takes me back to my tech days when I like flew enough that I actually got here because of my status. But
she like keeps making my point for me, or like backing up the points that I'm saying. You have to have status, and this is how you get those upgrades. You just don't get business class seats like this.
So it is almost,
it's nice.
It's 10:39 and I'm literally in the frontmost seat of this plane.
So 10:39, it looks like they've just boarded. They obviously haven't closed the door yet, so boarding is happening right now, probably as she's filming this, unless she's filming on her camera and they're in flight, but it doesn't look like they probably are. She was complaining that there was no one at her gate yet. She's so early. Dude, you're like 7 hours early for your flight. If you're just getting on your flight now, it's 10:30. You said you got there at like 3:30 p.m. or something, which great that you're early, but holy cow, 7 hours early. That's why no one was at your gate. Duh.
We are headed to Helsinki, direct flight. I think it's going to be 8 or 9 hours.
Okay.
And I realized that there are no more plans. I have no clue what's happening literally from here on. I know that I get picked up at the airport, but like, how long does it take to get there? I don't know. What are we like stopping along the way? I don't know. So,
how is she traveling and have no idea what's going on? Is this a brand thing? Is it her team that has done this for her? She has no idea what's going on. This whole trip is being just winged. If you're someone that struggles from anxiety, going into something like this, it's going to be stressful and anxiety inducing. You're running on little sleep. She's probably drinking in the lounge too. That doesn't help. This just is not good. This is so irritating. And how is this the worst flight ever when you have to spend hours in the lounge before your flight? You get to fly business class over there. Saying that this is your worst experience ever is so irritating. Yeah, you got delayed a day, but come on, I'm sure there's so many people that would allow themselves to be delayed a day just to fly business class. But the fact that you have no idea what's going on in this trip, it's just showing me how much of a pattern she has of winging things and not being prepared. And it's just frustrating for people to be watching this and her being an influencer, a travel influencer, and this is what you're projecting. I don't like it. I hate it. And I think it's irresponsible.
My anxiety does not love this, but my learning and growing muscles love this. Putting my skills of letting go to the test. For accessibility reasons, I just have to shout this seat out. It is so comfortable. It is so plus friendly. It's not even funny. I do have an extender, but
well, yeah, you're in business class. Look at how nice that seat is.
I'm like this close from not needing it, and I feel very comfortable, not squished at all, and lots of great space. So it's top notch. These I noticed because these are actually designed by Marimekko.
That's fancy. That's nice.
This is kind of the front of the cabin, and as you can see, like this comes up and makes a bed, and this aircraft's actually weird because you don't lay down. The seat doesn't go back. So
you don't lay down. Well, is it a lay flatbed? So instead of going back, your feet go forward. You don't necessarily go back. You just go into your little cocoon area and the seat moves forward. So you are able to lay down that way. Probably what you meant, but.
I just arrived in Helsinki and I'm going to meet everybody. And I slept the whole flight, so I'm feeling great.
She got sleep. Look at how happy she is. Look at the difference in just even her attitude about things. I mean, I'm happy for her. I'm glad that she was able to get sleep and get rest and utilize the business class seat. I just hate how she brought this whole experience to her audience.
So I'm walking to meet everybody. Because of all the flight issues.
Because of all the flight issues. Those are because of you. Don't act like there was so many flight issues because of the airline or the flight or anything. The issues were because of you. And she's not directly saying that. It's how it's coming across. Let's be real about it, Anna.
I'm literally the last one to arrive. And they're literally waiting for me in the bus. Okay, it's time to go through security and then get on the bus to try to find my luggage, which should be easy because it's obnoxiously orange. I am a very colorful person in this country. Here, and they're coming. Come visit! Hey!
A nice airport.
This totally is happening for the first time!
That's a lot of people there.
We're still hugging! We did it! Woo-woo!
I wonder, so did they come in on a different flight or were they on the same flight as her, like in the back? Like how did this group get here? They're still at the airport. They have their luggage. They clearly just traveled in. I just wonder how, if she was traveling with a bunch of people, how their trips were affected by her not going on that first flight out. Curious to know that too, because if you know that you're traveling with a big group and you're not being prepared and you are delaying the trip an extra day, that just brings a whole other element into it. Kind of selfishness to just like trying to wing it. That's crazy to me. But they all look happy, so hey. That is the end of the video. Glitter and Lasers is one of those people that really just grinds my gears when she's traveling. What I do think is great about her though is the fact that she did travel and she is traveling and trying to put out the message of, you know, if you're bigger, like you can travel and have these experiences. I'm a true believer that travel is for everyone and should be experienced by everyone. It's just the way she's putting out the message and how it's coming across, I don't think translates. And there's a very kind of like almost selfish thing about it, and the things that she and not grateful, like a non-grateful attitude about it as well. The fact that she was so unprepared and it ended the way it did. How grateful should you be in that situation? And maybe talk about that with your audience and how this has never happened to you before or why they gave her the seat the way they did. I just worry that people watch it and will expect their travel experience to go a certain way, and that's not the reality of it. And that is kind of my big issue as we kind of dig into these influencers who are traveling. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I was a little ranty on that video. I talked a lot. I'm sorry. I'll see you guys in the next video. We're going to continue to dive into these travel influencers and their effect on the travel industry. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.